Thanks for thanks for sharing your morning with me, or your day, any part of your day. I thought I'd give you a brief understanding of where I am in my mental state right now. Because when I left the organization, it was just 6 months ago, right? And then I I had planned so much. I had planned to I wasn't going to go to the memorial. I wasn't going to, it would have been my first year. And I thought I was going to be, probably one of many that didn't go to the memorial this last year, but not the whole 8.5 million not going to the memorial. No, that's not, that's not exactly what I thought was going to happen. Then we have this event that happened. And I bet you're curious about what I'm personally feeling. Or maybe you're not, but these are just my feelings. I am not scared. I am not scared. And I think of the scripture that says, no one knows the day or the hour. So that is, there you go. Just to let you know, sometimes you hear snoring in the background. That's my dog. She's half pug and half terrier mix. So she's loud when she sleeps. Yeah. And I had a husband, right? I have a husband, not had, but I have a husband who's been out of the organization for over 20 years. And I see how he processes things. And he's, like I said, a very good person. And we don't watch too much of the news. We listen to enough in the morning, the local news, for maybe 15 minutes. And that generally in that 15 minutes you can get what you need out of it, which is, do you wear a face mask? Riverside, where I'm in the South County in California. And we don't seem to be affected with fines for not wearing face masks, but it's encouraged. Unfortunately, we don't have face masks as a family, so we'd have to make everything. We'd have to make our little masks, and they said a scarf would do. So yeah, I'm aware, with just the briefing that you get in the morning from the local news. I heard about the last of the last of the last of the last of the last by Lloyd and how he broke it down. So yeah, I got to hear that old dog up there in New York explaining that. And if you feel offended because I said that, I don't mind. I don't care. I don't feel that these people that do that to sheep, like ones, they are not loving. And I think of the scripture that says that the dogs will go back to their vomit, right? And they explained, well, if you have a dog that barks and barks, well, to me, I don't, they're very culpable for what they've done. They are, I'm angry with those men because they know better and they know what they've done and they've hidden it. So yes, I just don't feel I'm angry because I was dangled with the carrot, and that makes me angry. Do I have faith still? Yes, I do. I have faith. I have faith and optimism. And I would hope that this event would make people change. I listened to Dr. Gabor Mate and other individuals that have educated themselves about the world around them. I love YouTube, and I listen to positive things. I try and pick out I'm very careful about what I listen to. And if it doesn't fill me with joy, then I don't listen to it. I cut it off. It has to fill my soul with goodness and happiness and joy. And I'm careful and aware of individuals and groups now. If I feel that I'm coming back with something that doesn't feel right to me, I feel that. I don't put it in the back, and I discuss it with my husband. So that's helpful. I think, Nico, you asked me, I think I have it here, how long I have been in the truth, right? In the organization. Thank you. Thank you, Nico, for asking, and thank you for listening. I have been in the organization and have known, I haven't known anything different. I've always just been in the organization. Yeah, all my life. That's why it was, yeah, Nikos, he asked, how long have you been a JW? Yeah, all my life. So I don't know anything differently. I don't know life outside of the organization and its bubble. So I would imagine that people like me who've left recently are a little bit fearful because of what they see around them right now. And I think it helped to go back to history. You know, I did get books that helped with history. And I love this book. And I'm not even finished yet, because I kind of go back and regurgitate the pages because it's just so good. It's just so good. And there was a point in this book where My Bondage and My Freedom by Frederick Douglass, where he explains that there is some sort of comets. The comets are coming. And he thought that this was the end, you know, was the kingdom that was coming. And that was because there were, you know, either falling stars, you know, and certain things that were happening in space. And he thought that this was the end. And so it's interesting to pull back and look at history. And that's, you know, behind us. Look behind us, because it gives us an idea of what our future will be. And so, yeah, I look at this as this event as just an event. I don't see it being, I think history over time has shown that we've had plagues and different events that have hurt mankind. And yeah, so, but to say that one specific event is going to lead to another event that would bring Armageddon or, you know, yeah, no, I don't see that right now. I mean, it would have to be something that everybody could see, not just a few groups of people. It would be on a magnitude of, there is no way you could explain it, that kind of thing. And we don't see that. And we see bits and pieces of things but that were in the Bible that was explained. You know, there will be famine, you know, food shortages in one place after another, earthquakes. But yeah, it's always been here. Am I afraid of it? No, I'm not afraid of this event. I'm afraid of what people will do to each other in this event. I'm afraid of the fears that people have that they will hurt themselves because suicide and, you know, I think people that are already in a very depressed state can, especially being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and if you're already on the outs, right, and people are not talking to you and you don't have your regular group of social interaction that helps you build yourself up, then yeah, you have a problem and you're going to you could possibly hurt yourself, especially if you don't. I notice that when I have a conversation with my husband and I share my fears or my thoughts or my questions, and we both converse with each other and break it down, it really is very relieving. And because an individual who's been cut out of their normal friendships and relationships and isolation is dangerous, and it can hurt the individual. And I think this is very interesting too, because in this event you're by yourself and you're isolated and you don't have human touch, and so people get sicker. You know, you want your loved ones around you when you're dying or you're not feeling good. You need the human touch. And a child, you know, they've done studies where orphans, if they're not touched, they die. So yeah, I'm concerned about this event in that way, and how it's going to affect humans on an individual basis. And our culture as Jehovah's Witnesses has always been to isolate people when they're doing wrong. So I think this just compounds that feeling of being alone, especially right now when you need someone to call, at least someone to talk to. Yeah, but as a fear in itself because of Armageddon, no, I don't feel that fear. I don't feel that fear. I fear I fear people worried about it. I fear what those people will do to others because of maybe not having enough money, not having enough food, not being able to really break things down in their minds and get it out, and then hurting themselves. That's what I fear. I fear that people won't be able to take the stresses that come with not having their mortgage payment or their rent payment. I worry about how that is going to affect our society. And I do worry about Jehovah's Witnesses because they were already in a state of no education. We're not allowed to get educated. We're not allowed to integrate and share our feelings with people that are outside of our organization. We're only supposed to share with each other. But that sharing can mean that if you share with the wrong person, that they're going to go and tell on you. And then you have to be aware of what you do share with people that you can talk to. Yeah, so I'm not afraid of Armageddon. And I always think of that scripture. Neither fornicators nor idolaters. Hello, I was an idolater for the last 31 years. I mean, I was baptized in June 25th, 1988. I was 17. So, yeah, just to let you know where I am mentally and, you know, how I'm feeling about all these things around me, especially because I'm so new out. I'm not afraid. It's helpful. I don't listen to a lot. Like I said, I pull what I like, and then if I'm done with it, I'm done. And I feel like if you find me and you listen to me, you found the right. We know what we're attracted to. You know, and you see if somebody's kind of crazy in their eyes. Oh, I don't like that. I've looked at some YouTube videos, and they're Christian. You know, they're people that are talking about the Bible, and I can see when there's crazy eyes. I don't like crazy eyes. And I figure you really see vulnerability and you see honesty when somebody's talking, and you see it in their eyes, in the way that their demeanor. You see if they're trying to share with you a different type of person, and it's still, you know, I'm here, I'm talking to you. It's not me in life. You know, I don't always have it together, and I'm not going to tell you I do. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. I have a hard time balancing homeschooling with regular life. Am I perfect, mom? No. I need the timeouts. I'm realizing through re-educating myself with homeschooling, because I've been doing it since my daughter. I feel like I've been homeschooling since she was born, and each child is different. I've been told that, and I didn't realize that. So yeah, it's a process of learning. And how are my girls doing in this situation? Again, we don't listen to a lot of news. Do I fill them up with fear? No. I am very careful with what we listen to. And I think I should be even more careful. I mean, I really should, we need to discuss things a lot. And there's certain things that they're watching and I'm like, whoa, what is that? Yeah, mom, this is that, and this is this, and they have to explain it to me. So I'm a mom. I am a mom, and I am a mom who realizes that I need to let the child go according to what they can handle. But to just let them go, no, I'm not. I can't do that, and I give rules. So we turn off the phones, and we eat together on the table. We try and do that. That really helps because it just helps the family. Are we dedicated to that always? No. Sometimes we're just not. We have projects and we think everybody's doing something. But we do, when we finally I would say we sit down as a family about 2 times a week on the table. Could we do more? Oh yeah, we should probably do a lot more. But, we're all very busy and we all have different things that we're doing. Yeah, the family's doing well, I think. The girls get to ask me questions, so that's good. And they've always had that opportunity with me and my husband, an openness. And I let my children, I didn't ever feel like the Jehovah's Witness that didn't let my children talk to me. I realized that if they had a disagreement with what I had to say or my beliefs, that they had the right to do that. This is America, and I had a different belief and my husband had a different belief, and I had to respect that, because if I went out in field service and knocked on people's doors and allowed them to have a different belief, then I certainly could do that in my home. And that has always been, I've always tried to live those rules in my home personally. Yeah. I hope that you're not fearful. And I hope, if you're leaving or have left for a number of years or a number of months or whatever, Stephen Hassan is very good. He talked to Lloyd I saw him talk to Lloyd just in one of Lloyd's recent videos. And the bite model is it breaks it down. And I think it's very important for parents to take their children out of this organization. Yeah, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous organization for children. And when you get them at such young ages, children are very malleable and can do things that adults would never think of doing. And I think that's what's so strange about this organization too, is because for years they've told people not to have children. And then, they compared baptism to marriage, and yet they expect a child to make an adult decision. That bothers me. And it's always bothered me. And I didn't even realize that I was a part of that mind control set. It's funny because later I was baptized at 17. My dad begged me not to get baptized. And I didn't listen. And it was a particular brother. He was a Bethelite. He was a brother, a ministerial servant in our congregation, and he studied with certain kids. And kind of like the orphan children or the widow that had no spiritual head. And my parents, they just didn't, my dad was a working alcoholic, so he could perform very well. We had a nice home, we had nice things. So when my mother would go to the meetings by herself with us, we looked fine. But my mom knew how to look the part. So we looked the part, but our home life was very difficult. And this particular ministerial servant would talk to all the children, and he was always there to tell me, well, okay, you're 16, you're 17, you should be getting baptized soon. And that kind of pressure I could feel. So I know what that feels like as a kid. And I also know that the elders' children, they generally got baptized at 13 and 14 and 15, and they were out of the organization by 19 or 20. And that's always been kind of interesting to me. And I think it's because they saw a double life. They saw a double standard in their homes. And here I was expecting such high expectations from these individuals I'd go to school with. And of course, I was the good, crazy Jehovah's Witness that if I saw something, you're supposed to tell. So I would. And that was just a whole nother, it was just, yeah. Don't tell on your friends. Just let them live their life. Just let the kids live. A lot of these kids, I feel, are so, I don't know, if it's going to be dangerous for them, yeah, say something. But, they have a boyfriend that's a worldly boyfriend. What are you going to do? These poor kids. I just feel so sorry for some of the young girls that were in my congregation, because they were looking for love. Their father wasn't there. He was busy dealing with other people's families. And I recognize that now. And I feel sorry for them. Of course, if somebody is in danger, you say something to the parent. But, if it's I just wish I had known the things I know now and just left it alone, left people alone, and not feel that. They always say, you want to keep the congregation clean. It has nothing to do with keeping the congregation clean, because the elders' kids are always doing the same thing or worse. And no one ever finds out. No one ever, people know about it, but they just quietly put their heads in the sand. So it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, get your kids out. That same ministerial servant ended up, quote, being an apostate, end quote. And his wife left him. From what I hear, I only know bits and pieces of what happened. So he was a Bethelite. He probably saw things that were wrong, and he left. So, yeah, just hang in there and take it 1 minute at a time. Try and keep your mind on positive things. Listen to positive things. There's a lot of positive things on YouTube, and then just shut it off. Shut it off. I don't do a lot of Facebook. I take pictures of the family. I put it up there, and it's mostly for me so that I don't forget what I have done. And yeah, and I read. I've read so much. I've read more than I've ever read. I think I had a couple of days ago, I felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't read a Watchtower. Oh, it's okay. I don't have to read them anymore. I don't have to plug into that anymore. But I could feel a guilt that I hadn't felt. And I didn't even know it's in there. And it's just amazing that it's still stuck in there. And I didn't even feel that feeling until it came and surfaced. And I would imagine that I'm going to get a lot of that in this healing period, however long it takes. So I do feel that it's more helpful to listen to people that have been through the experience. Because when I go to therapy or when I go to a certain therapist, they're not very understanding. And I just had a conversation with a beautiful friend who has recently, or had left earlier, and she found me because of YouTube. She found me. Her and her husband found me, and we both shared that it was a lot easier to talk to people that have experienced what we've experienced versus trying to explain it to a therapist or get someone who tells us, oh, we know how to deprogram you, but they haven't really dealt with Jehovah's Witnesses, per se. So, yeah, they didn't. You have to be in it. You have to understand it and the complexities, and it's hard. It's hard to explain it to people. It's hard to explain it to the outside world, especially if that's all you've known. I don't know anything different. Having my husband out for 20 years, let me tell you, that has just been a lifesaver to me. And then my sister-in-law. And I look at her life and I look at her children or her child and I think, okay, look, it's possible to be free and do your own thing and live a beautiful life and have a fulfilling happiness that comes with being free and away from a group that is so stifling to thoughts, to have a different thought, to have a choice than what they consider the norm. And I do believe there's good Jehovah's Witnesses. I do believe that. I believe that, like me, they were bamboozled, and you don't look out. I had lived with my husband for so long, and I still didn't look up the information. I was very stubborn. I was the crazy Jehovah's Witness. But there's hope, right? And there's hope. And you can think differently. You can get your mind to think differently. Being away from the organization when I was sick, or seeing how people treated me when I was not doing well, instead of being encouraging. Yeah, no. It was strange. Very strange to see that lack of love. And it's put your money where your mouth, put your money where your mouth is, or something like that. Oh, I don't know, I'm gonna have to probably cut that part off, but do what you say, right? Do what you say. Don't just say it. And there's times when we just can't. You can't. You have to realize, I can't do that. I can't do something that is asked of you. But then be honest about it. I can't do that right now. I can't give a part of me right now because I don't have that. That's okay too. But be honest about it. Oh, right. Well, I hope this kind of helps. I mean, I'm not afraid, and I think of positive things. I keep the family thinking positively. I turn things off. We spend time together, walking time, biking time, talking time, TV time. We sit together and we'll watch something and discuss it. Helps. And I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Mm-mm. So these things that I'm seeing do not encourage me to go back. Not at all. So, okay. I hope that this does help you. And yes, Nikos, it's all my life. I don't know anything else. And up until 6 months ago, I was still in the organization. Wow. It's changed. Life has changed for me. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And I think there's that book, that Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Jump. You don't know what you're going to get into, but I know that it's not going to be you can't keep going the way they're doing things. You can't. Yeah. And their way of being good human beings doesn't fit being a good human being. Just doesn't. Just Jehovah's Witnesses. I always think just Jehovah's Witnesses. There's a lot of good people here on the earth. And they deserve good lives. They deserve to have good lives here on the earth. And we need a great healing. the whole of humanity, and including the ones that have died. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but I still have faith that it will. All right. I like this. It says, if you focus on what you left behind, you'll never be able to see what lies ahead. That's true. If you focus on what you left behind, you'll never see what lies ahead. I'm looking forward to seeing what lies ahead. I'm excited. I hope this helps you on your healing journey. Follow your bliss.